If I'd have left it at 89, we have what they call a super speeding law here in Atlanta, and there'd have been a higher ticket and all this other stuff. I said, okay. So not a problem. So then after he writes the ticket, he goes back, he comes back with a printout. He didn't write the ticket, they got this big printout thing that they give you. So he gives me this printout, he shows me, and he says, you can call in a couple of weeks and find out how much it is. Like, okay. He says, or you can, go to court. He said, but if you pay it, then you don't have to go to court. And I'm thinking, yeah. So then it dawns on me, it's like, yeah, the other two cars had Georgia tags. I don't. Easy money, either way. And then, as he writes the ticket, I shake his hand. He hands me the ticket. I shake his hand, I pull off. And I'm starting to fume, because I'm like, I was behind them. But I'm the one that got clocked. I'm the one that got doing this. Lord said, were you speeding? All right. I have to repent under heaven because that's what I done, period. So that releases. I'm okay. Go on. I get to South Carolina. Check in my room. I get in the room. Get done. I'm like, okay, I need to go get me something to eat. By that time, it was almost 6 o'clock their time. I get in, like, all right, change my clothes, get everything done, gonna go grab something to eat before I go to the first conference meeting. As I'm on the way, I'm about to get off on the off ramp to where I need to go to get to the church. And right as I'm getting to the off ramp, probably about a mile before I get to that ramp, Angela texts me back and says she gets the job. I said, okay. I text back, hope everything works out for you. Take care. As soon as I hit send, absolute breakdown. Niagara Falls starts coming out of my face. Tears that I have no clue as to what, why, or anything else. So mind you, it becomes difficult to drive with tears in your eyes. So I get to the off-ramp and I pull to the off-ramp. And by this time, it's rush hour traffic for them. So there's this guy sitting in this truck, out of state, crying. Like, all right, Lord, what is this? What do you want me to do? What's happening? He said, text the last person that you texted. Like, why? Why am I doing this? Mind you, wilderness. Why am I doing this? Text her, tell her what's going on. So I text her, I'm here, I can't stop crying because I'm trying to stop. Can't stop. So I'm crying. I text her, tell her, I'm crying, I can't stop crying. She texts me back, call me. So I call her, I still can't stop crying. I said, okay. So then she says, well, why are you crying? I don't know. She then says, well, why did you go to South Carolina? I said, because it's what I knew I was supposed to do. Figured it was going to be an okay thing. I hadn't had any breakdowns. I hadn't had anything other than a couple of weeks ago, so I thought I was good. Everything was fine. So she starts talking, telling me about her interview. I'm trying to find out something just to redirect. Try to get this to stop. Still can't stop. So I'm like, okay, maybe if I go get something to eat. Now, mind you, I got to stop crying before I can walk into this place to get something to eat, or else they're going to call the cops. This black guy is coming in here. He's huge and he's crying, and we don't know what's going on. So, so I go. I'm still talking. She's still talking. It's like, you know, gotta have fun, figure out something to do. She's trying to talk me through it the best she knows, because don't nobody know what's going on. I don't have any information. I have no idea. So I pull into the place. The name of the place that I always go to South Carolina is called Omega Stacks. Omega. Alpha. Omega. I pull in. I park. As soon as I park, as soon as I put the truck in park, Lord says, you remember that now? I dropped my head. I said, I just figured out why I'm crying, why I had to call you, and what this is about. It's because he showed me this 2 years ago, that I was on the side of the interstate crying in South Carolina. But at that time, I had no idea of what that was about or what it was for. I said, but this was to let you know what was going on. And I said, this was to let me know that I was upset because you were never able to come with me, or you never chose to come with me. So me being upset, that was what was hurting me. But this was him letting me know that that was never going to happen. This was why I had to call you. I said, I'm good now. I stopped crying immediately. I said, I'm good now. Thank you. I hung up the phone. 2 years ago, he showed me being on that exact spot in that exact place, crying. You get a vision like that, you're just figuring, what's the big deal about that? What's going on with that? After that, I ate. I was getting ready to go to the conference. He said, no, go back to your hotel room. Like, all right. So I had to stay in a place that I've never stayed before. Right when I pulled in, I go to check in. This guy walks in. He's got this crazy look on his face. I'm like, okay. And mind you, it's an abandoned building on one side of where I'm staying and an abandoned building on the other side of where I'm staying. I'm like, all right, no big deal. He comes in, he says to the clerk, I want you to know that somebody was just assaulted in your parking lot and I'm about to call the police. I'm like, all right, and this is where I'm staying. So the guy calls the room, he lets the person know what's going on, everything happens there. I'm like, all right, Lord, what are we doing here? What's going on? So I got out my studies, I did some studies. All right, no big deal. Went and got something else to eat, laid back down, wake up the next day, go into worship service. Very first song they sing, Lost It. Ugly cry. Ugly, ugly, ugly cry. the ugly enough for everybody that's in front of me and everybody that's beside me. They're like praying over me and then bringing me tissue and all of this kind of cry. I'm like, okay, Lord, what are you doing? What is going on here? And he said, I'm ending one thing and I'm starting another.
Praise God. Praise God.
He said, and it needed to be that clear to you that I'm ending this and I'm starting something else. I said, okay. So shortly after he's revealing that to me, after I've gotten all the ugly cry off of me and everything else, then Bishop Miller gets up and starts talking. Apostle Ron's already spoken that morning. Bishop Miller gets up and starts talking, and one of the things he says, one of the things y'all need to understand about new beginnings, he said there's two things that you always get in new beginnings. He said you get a death certificate and a birth certificate. He said you get a death certificate for what you just finished, and you get a birth certificate for what you started. said, okay. I didn't need a confirmation. I was okay. I had already shed enough tears, and I'd already had enough shown. I was okay. But then if that wasn't enough, he says, some of y'all in here, you left your house and the only hope of faith that you had was in you when you left the house. I need you to come up to the stage. Thinking, really? Thinking, really? This has got to go on like this? Thankfully, it was like the mass exodus of Egypt because I wasn't the only one. So they get up there. Everybody else gets up there. I get up there. He starts praying. He starts praying over everybody. And he starts prophesying, and he then begins to say, I'm raising up a group of people to start a new bloodline in their families and in their cities. Did I not say that before I left? So he begins to say this. He starts praying over this, and I'm like, all right, cool. I get it. What else do I need? What else are you doing? So we got to get down from the stage. And mind you, I'm going somewhere with this. I get down off the stage. I go back to my seat.